Life is a storm, unpredictable, violent, and often unfair. We spend years trying to control the winds and silence the thunder. But the truth is harsh. The storm is never ours to command. The Stoics understood this long ago. They did not seek to calm the storm outside, but to calm the storm within. And in that simple shift of focus lies a power greater than armies, greater than wealth, greater even than luck. The heart of Stoicism beats with one central truth. There are things within our control, and things beyond it. Most people confuse the two, wasting their lives in endless worry about what they cannot change. But the Stoic draws a clean line. His choices, his actions, his judgments, these are his realm. Everything else is the realm of fate. To fight against fate is to fight the ocean with bare hands. To master oneself is to ride its waves like a sailor who trusts his compass. Imagine a compass. It cannot stop storms, it cannot flatten mountains, it cannot calm the sea. Yet in the hands of a traveler, it provides direction. Stoicism is that compass. It does not erase suffering, but it gives you a way through it. It does not make life easy, but it makes you strong enough to face life as it is. The modern world, for all its progress, is a world of confusion. Every screen flashes with distraction, every voice demands attention, every culture teaches us to crave more and fear loss. Anxiety has become a language, stress a permanent companion. In such a world, Stoicism is not an ancient relic, but a survival tool. It cuts through the noise, reminding us of what truly matters: the control of self, the practice of virtue, the acceptance of fate. Many people misunderstand Stoicism as coldness, as if it means becoming an emotionless stone. This is far from the truth. Stoicism does not deny emotions, it disciplines them. It does not kill joy, it deepens it. It does not erase grief, it gives it dignity. The Stoic is not numb, he is awake, alive, and aware. Think of Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, surrounded by wars, betrayals, and plagues. He had the power of an empire but chose to rule himself first. In his private writings, he reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words, written centuries ago, echo with relevance today. The Stoic compass is not a theory, it is a practice. It guides you in traffic when anger rises, in failure when hope fades, in betrayal when trust is broken. It whispers, "This is not yours to control. This is. Choose wisely." In that whisper lies freedom. And so we begin this journey, not to escape the storms of life, but to carry within us an anchor that no wave can break. The Stoic compass is not about changing the world outside, but about mastering the world inside. That mastery is the only true freedom. Every day we face crossroads, big and small. Do we respond with anger when insulted, or with silence? Do we give up after failure, or rise again? Do we spend hours envying others, or focus on what we can build? At each of these moments, the Stoic compass points us back to the same truth. You cannot control what happens, but you can always control your response. Picture this. You are driving, and someone cuts you off recklessly. Instantly, your heart pounds, your anger rises, and your hands tighten on the wheel. Most people surrender to rage, cursing, honking, wasting their peace. But the Stoic pauses and asks, "Can I control this driver? No. Can I control my reaction? Yes." And so he chooses calm. This is not weakness, it is power. Or think of failure. A business collapses, a dream dies, an effort fails. The world teaches us to see failure as the end, but the Stoic sees it as raw material. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Failure is not a wall, it is a door disguised. By walking through it with courage, we discover lessons no success could teach. Relationships too test the Stoic compass. Betrayal cuts deep, arguments wound, misunderstandings fester. The Stoic does not deny the pain of these experiences, he feels them, but he refuses to chain himself to bitterness. He asks, "Can I control another's loyalty? No. Can I control my integrity, my forgiveness, my dignity? Yes." And so he rises above vengeance, choosing strength over poison. Even in wealth and possessions, the Stoic compass points true. Fortune is a fickle master. Today you are rich, tomorrow you may have nothing. The Stoic knows this, and therefore builds his foundation not on riches, but on virtue. For money may vanish, but courage, justice, wisdom, and discipline are treasures no thief can steal, no fire can burn, no death can erase. The compass also guides us in grief. When death takes a loved one, the Stoic does not pretend the pain is small. He grieves. But he grieves with wisdom. He whispers to himself, "Did I love them? Yes. Was I grateful for their life? Yes. Then let my grief honor their memory, not destroy my own." In this way, grief becomes not chains, but a quiet song of remembrance. The Stoic compass shines brightest in chaos. When the world shakes, wars, injustice, pandemics, economic collapse, most people lose themselves in fear. But the Stoic remembers, fear is not in events, but in my judgments of them. He cannot control the storm, but he can steer his ship. And sometimes that calm example becomes a light for others lost in darkness. The compass is not about perfection. Even Stoics stumbled. Marcus doubted himself, Seneca admitted his own weaknesses, Epictetus confessed the difficulty of practice. But each time they returned to the compass, that return, that daily correction of direction, is what made them strong. Anger is one of the greatest tests of the Stoic compass. Seneca called it temporary madness. And indeed, when anger takes control, reason vanishes, words are spoken that cannot be taken back, and actions are done that leave scars. The Stoic trains himself to pause, to breathe, to measure his response. For the one who conquers anger conquers himself, and that is the highest form of victory. Fear, too, is a powerful enemy. Most people are prisoners of what-ifs. What if I lose my job? What if I get sick? What if people reject me? Fear chains them to a life unlived. But the Stoic compass cuts these chains. He remembers Epictetus's lesson. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. By focusing on what he can do today, the Stoic dissolves the phantom shadows of tomorrow. Patience is another virtue sharpened by Stoicism. The modern world worships speed, instant results, instant success, instant gratification. But the Stoic knows that greatness grows slowly, like an oak tree from a small acorn. He is not rushed by the noise of the world, for he knows that what is built patiently stands stronger than what is built in haste. Gratitude is the compass pointing us back to abundance. The Stoic wakes each morning thankful for life itself, for breath, for time, for the chance to act with virtue today. Instead of demanding what life has not given, he treasures what it has. In this way, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. A cup of water is wealth, a kind word is fortune, a single moment is eternity. Self-mastery is the heart of the Stoic path. Most people are slaves to desire, fear, and opinion. They believe they are free, yet they obey every impulse, every craving, every social expectation. The Stoic, by contrast, governs himself like a king governs a kingdom. His mind is his castle, his reason his law, his virtue his shield. And so he walks through life free, even if the world calls him a slave. The Stoic compass is not only for solitude, it is for society. Justice is central. To harm another is to harm oneself, for we are threads of the same fabric. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, we are made for cooperation, like hands, like feet, like eyelids. The Stoic therefore acts with fairness, even when the world is unjust, because his compass points not to profit, but to principle. Grief is among the heaviest storms that strike the human heart. To lose a loved one, to face absence where once there was presence, is a pain no philosophy can erase. But Stoicism does not deny grief. It guides it. The Stoic reminds himself, we are all travelers on the same road and none of us stays forever. To love deeply is to risk sorrow, but to love wisely is to accept the price of impermanence. Death is not an enemy but a teacher. Most people live as if life will never end, wasting days as though they were infinite. But the Stoic keeps death in sight, not with fear, but with clarity. You could leave life right now, Marcus wrote. Let that determine what you do and say and think. In this reminder, every day becomes precious, every choice gains weight, and every moment shines brighter. Discipline is the backbone of the Stoic way. Without it, no compass can guide a man, for he will always fall back into weakness. Discipline in speech, in thought, in action, these are the pillars of strength. It is not about punishment, but about freedom. For the man who cannot rule himself is ruled by everything around him. Simplicity is a Stoic treasure. The world tells us happiness lies in possessions, in luxury, in endless consumption. But the Stoic knows that desire is a bottomless pit. The more you feed it, the hungrier it grows. True wealth is found in needing less, not more. A simple meal, a clean conscience, a clear mind, these are the riches the Stoic values. Inner peace is the ultimate reward of the Stoic compass. It is not the absence of storms, but the calm within them. The Stoic does not pray for an easier life, he prays for stronger shoulders. He does not wish for the storm to end, he trains himself to stand firm until it passes. And in this resilience, he finds a peace that no external chaos can shatter. To walk the Stoic path is to walk against the current of society. While the world chases pleasure, he seeks virtue. While the world fears death, he prepares for it. While the world demands comfort, he accepts hardship. In this way, he becomes not a leaf blown by the winds of chance, but a tree rooted in timeless soil. Resilience is the art of standing back up after life knocks you down. For the Stoic, every challenge is not an obstacle, but training for the soul. Just as a sword is sharpened by friction, so too the mind is strengthened by hardship. He does not ask, "Why me?" He asks, "How can I rise stronger because of this?" That shift of question is the essence of resilience. Fate is not a prison, but a path. The Stoics embrace the idea of amor fati, the love of one's fate. It means not just accepting what happens, but embracing it fully, as if you had chosen it yourself. To fight against fate is to fight against reality. To love fate is to align with it, turning every twist of destiny into a step forward rather than a chain holding you back. Wisdom, for the Stoics, is the crown of all virtues. It is not merely knowledge, but understanding of what matters most. A man may know thousands of facts, yet still live foolishly. But the wise man sees clearly. Virtue is the highest good, and external things are indifferent. With wisdom, he navigates storms without confusion, for his compass always points true. Purpose gives strength to life. Without purpose, days blur into one another, and existence becomes a burden. The Stoic believes every human being is part of a larger order, a role in the vast play of nature. His duty is not to question why he was given his role, but to perform it with excellence. Whether king or servant, soldier or scholar, he seeks to play his part with honor. Legacy, too, is redefined by Stoicism. Most people chase fame, wealth, or monuments that crumble with time. The Stoic does not chase eternal applause, he chases eternal virtue. His true legacy is not carved in stone, but in the lives he touches, the justice he upholds, the calm he carries. When he is gone, his memory will not live in statues, but in the quiet influence of a life lived with integrity. And so resilience, fate, wisdom, purpose, and legacy weave together into a compass far stronger than any map. The Stoic knows he cannot control the winds, but he can adjust his sails. He cannot stop the tide, but he can choose how to row. He cannot dictate the length of his life, but he can decide the depth of his living. And that choice makes him free. Each Stoic day begins with reflection. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, often wrote at dawn, reminding himself of the challenges ahead. Difficult people, unexpected problems, and the constant pull of distraction. By preparing his mind in the morning, he armed himself with strength before the first battle of the day even began. The Stoic knows that victory begins not on the battlefield, but in the mind. Journaling is one of the most powerful Stoic tools. Writing clarifies thought, sharpens focus, and reveals the truth hidden beneath emotion. A page of reflection is a mirror for the soul. Marcus did not write for the world, but for himself. To remind, to correct, to strengthen. In the same way, journaling allows us to speak honestly with ourselves, without fear or judgment. Discipline is not an occasional act, it is a daily ritual. The Stoic trains himself like an athlete of the mind. Small acts of restraint, eating with moderation, rising early, controlling speech, these shape the character more than grand gestures. For it is in the small victories over self that the great victories of life are prepared. Night brings another sacred Stoic practice, review. Seneca advised that each evening we should question ourselves. What weakness did I conquer today? Where did I fall short? What can I improve tomorrow? Such questions are not meant to punish, but to guide. The day closes not with regret, but with learning. Thus, each night plants the seed of a wiser dawn. Silence, too, is a Stoic companion. In a world overflowing with noise, silence sharpens the soul. It allows space for thought, for self-control, for clarity. Words once spoken cannot be recalled, but silence never betrays. The Stoic chooses his words carefully, valuing speech less for its volume and more for its weight. In silence, he learns to hear the deeper truths of life. These daily practices, reflection, journaling, discipline, review, and silence, form the unshakable foundation of Stoicism. Without them, philosophy is just theory. With them, philosophy becomes a living force, shaping each hour, each decision, each breath. They are the compass points that guide a Stoic not just in times of crisis, but in the quiet moments that form the true fabric of life. The modern world is a storm of distraction. Phones vibrate, screens flash, notifications compete for attention. The Stoic compass reminds us, attention is life. Whatever we give our attention to shapes who we become. To guard our focus is to guard our soul. The Stoic chooses carefully what enters his mind, just as he would choose carefully what enters his body. Social media has created an endless mirror of comparison. People measure their worth by likes, followers, and fleeting applause. But the Stoic sees through this illusion. Epictetus warned against letting others define our value. Our worth is not in the number of eyes upon us, but in the strength of the virtue within us. For the applause of the crowd fades, but the approval of conscience endures. Success in the modern world is often confused with accumulation of money, possessions, or recognition. But the Stoic redefines success as mastery of self. A billionaire enslaved by greed is poorer than a beggar content with little. Real wealth is freedom from need. Real success is peace of mind. The Stoic does not measure himself by the market, but by his principles. The pressure of speed dominates our age. Everything must be faster, easier, instant. But the Stoic knows that the deepest things cannot be rushed. Character, wisdom, love, strength. These grow slowly, like a tree spreading roots deep underground before rising tall. The man who hurries misses the beauty of the journey. The Stoic walks steadily, not swiftly, knowing that what matters most takes time. Loneliness is another shadow of our era. Surrounded by noise, yet starved of connection, people often feel isolated. The Stoic accepts solitude not as a curse, but as an opportunity. In solitude, the mind strengthens, the soul deepens, and the self is truly discovered. The Stoic is never truly alone, for he walks in the company of reason, nature, and timeless wisdom. The modern world craves constant validation, but the Stoic compass points inward. Validation from others is fragile, but validation from within is unbreakable. To be content with one's own judgment, to know that you have acted with justice, courage, temperance, and wisdom, this is the approval that lasts beyond any applause. Betrayal cuts deeper than a sword, for it wounds the trust we place in others. But the Stoic compass teaches us, betrayal belongs to the betrayer, not to us. Their actions reveal their character, not ours. To dwell on the wound is to suffer twice, once from the act itself, and again from our own bitterness. The Stoic forgives not because the other deserves it, but because his own peace deserves it. Failure is a word feared by many, yet embraced by the Stoic. For what is failure but feedback from the universe, a path that did not lead where we hoped, but still led us forward. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The Stoic sees failure not as the end, but as the raw material for future wisdom. Temptation surrounds every human being. It may come as lust, greed, vanity, or laziness. To give in is easy, to resist is strength. The Stoic compass helps us see beyond the moment, asking, will this action align me with virtue or enslave me to desire? True freedom is not the ability to indulge in everything, but the power to master oneself in the face of everything. Suffering is an unavoidable part of life. The Stoic does not pretend otherwise, but he transforms suffering into meaning. When pain arrives, he does not ask, why me, but how can I endure with dignity? Even the heaviest burdens can be carried with honor. And in this endurance, suffering becomes not just bearable, but a source of inner strength. Hope for the Stoic is not blind wishing, but rational trust. It is not an escape from reality, but a steady faith that life, however hard, is worth living well. The Stoic hopes not for fortune or ease, but for the chance to act with virtue today. This hope does not disappoint, because it depends not on luck, but on choice. Betrayal, failure, temptation, suffering, and hope. These are the storms of every life. But with the Stoic compass, one walks through them without losing direction. For no storm, however violent, can move the man whose compass points always to virtue.